So the daily Rapid Arena just started a few minutes ago. I'll be late joining, but not too late. And I thought I would do some instructive rapid chess today, but with a small twist. To make things a little bit more interesting, I'll play a different first move every game. So if I play e4 one game, I can't play it in any future game this tournament. And assuming I get a lot of games in, we'll probably have a lot of different first moves. So if there's anyone in chat that wants me to play a particular first move, let me know. I'll probably keep an ongoing list, but let's just hop in. And I'll still try and be competitive, maybe try and finish top 5, top 3, top 1. So waiting for the first game. G4, E4, B3, knight A3. Knight A3 is a sodium attack, right? Can't recall if I've ever played that. I probably have at some point. Yeah, this applies to white and black. So as black, I guess it's a question. As black, like if my opponent plays E4 and I play D5, then next game my opponent plays D4, can I still play D5? I think I'll try and mix up the first moves as black too. Speaking of D5, let's play C5. I want to stay in my comfort zone. I'll play a Scandi later, how about? So thank you everyone tuning in early. Thanks to the subs and resubs. So no more Sicilian after this game, at least from the black side. Opponent's playing B3. That's a move. Generally against B3, I like to also fianchetto my queenside bishop. And then target E4. Knight C3 I think is most common. White plays D3, which is a little bit passive. Usually in these lines, white goes for knight C3 and pawn D4. So this is a question. Can I pressure the center? Pawn D5. And there's also like knight C6 just developing. I'm going to start with pawn D5. White pre-moves pawn takes D5. Okay, I'll take back. If I take back with bishop, knight C3 comes with tempo, so I'll take back this way. Thank you to Fly Halfer. Subbing for 6 months in advance. I appreciate that. Oh, I have to change my stream category. I forgot. I was streaming a different category yesterday. I was streaming a crossword puzzle yesterday. Chess. Okay. Let's castle. So, yeah, completing development. It is nice playing the black side and already having a small space advantage. Now it's a question where this knight wants to go. C6 or D7? I think there's an argument for both moves. Leaning a bit more towards D7. Because there's a maneuver rook E8, knight F8, knight G6. White's doing something similar. Yeah, this knight might be coming to F5 very quickly. I'll still play rook E8. And now, I mean, I could play bishop F8 with the idea to reposition the bishop to G7. And that might be a bit preferred. Because if I play knight F8, then white plays this and then guarantees gets the bishop pair. Which is still probably fine for black. But I'd rather go for this. And then G6 will restrict the knight as well. Someone says I could smoke you in Angry Birds. That's probably true. I'm not sure if I've ever played Angry Birds. Maybe once in my life. There was also Flappy Bird, which was a very short-lived game. Thank you to Suds. Happy 26. I'm drinking water today. I'm playing tennis later, so I'm going to try and stay hydrated. On G6. Yeah, I just want to get a solid setup. Bishop G7, probably Queen C7. Maybe eventually Pawn D4 to block the bishop, free this bishop, free the knight. Thank you to Star Brilliant. First time Prime. I'm not planning to stream tennis. I haven't streamed tennis in a while. Maybe someday, though. It requires, like, good internet data and also, like, a phone tripod. Both of which I kind of have. Yeah, maybe not in the too distant future. Or in the not too distant future, I'll consider streaming tennis. Star Brilliant says, I've been watching Eric Rosen every day on YouTube. First time catching the live stream. Welcome to Twitch. Another thing I want to try is streaming on YouTube. It just requires a slightly different setup with YouTube. To find my YouTube stream key, make a thumbnail, figure out how chat works. Okay, Queen C7. H3 is a sign that white maybe doesn't know what to do. Maybe I'll eventually do the same. I think I still want to go for this move. Because if white ever plays C3, then I take, and then whatever takes back, white will be left with isolated d-pawn. I guess one thing I'm waiting for is bishop f1, after which d4 would maybe have the threat of bishop takes f3 and double white's pawns. Another idea of h5, h4, which actually doesn't work because knight takes h4. It's always good to kind of consider the stranger ideas, just in case, say, they could be playable at some point. Like even h5, king h7, bishop h6, which has the issue of knight g5. There's also this idea, storm the a-pawn, or a6, b5. Will you play the full arena? Maybe. It's a 2.5 hour arena. So we'll see how much energy I have. But I think there's a good chance. So knight h2. I go for this. Let's do it. Maybe I could have slow played a bit more with the rooks. Well, he goes for c3. So I was just thinking, if takes, queen takes, I have knight h5, defending and attacking. And if bishop takes, then I guess white's ready to play d4. Another option here is to play knight d5, allow the trade, and the bishop supports the pawn. Knight's nicely placed in the center. Knight c5 incoming. Yeah, I'm going to go for knight d5. Partly based on calculation, but also based on intuition. There's another thing with this setup is the c3 square is really in black's control. So if I can just plant a knight on c3, does not look pleasant for white. And maybe I do it right away. And there is rook c1. And then I take on e1, queen e1, rook c8. I think that's okay. We're definitely transforming the position a lot. This pawn might transition to a c-pawn. But it's so nice having the double fianchetto, like both bishops, helping influence the center. We'll probably end up seeing a trade of these bishops. And with a pawn-bishop battery, the knight is well enough reinforced that the queen doesn't need to be defending. Takes, I'd be okay. And here, yeah, I'm leaning towards takes first on e1. And then probably rook c8. Should also keep in mind this move. Looking at the forcing moves too, bishop f3. Let's start with this. Another thing to consider is knight e5 or c5. Like d3 is a big target. White adds another attacker to c3. So there's 4 attackers and 4 defenders. I'm wondering about this move. I could also take with check. Let's calculate knight e5. Knight e5, bishop takes. I take on d3. Even takes on d3, queen d2. And I take on c1, takes on c8, takes on e2 with check. I recapture. That looks pretty good. There's a lot going on here. Let's go for it. I mean, so many things are targets now. So bishop takes b7, knight takes d3, hitting the queen. Takes is good for black. And if queen d2, again, I take here, threatening to take here with check. Lines like this can be tricky to calculate because you have to keep track of the material situation. Like I lose a bishop, I win a pawn, I win a rook, I lose a rook, I win a knight, but then I win back the bishop in the end. There are different branches. And there's also knight takes e2, which I don't think is as good. Okay, so white starts with queen d2. So now I probably take on d3. Don't think it matters too much what I take with. I could take on e2. I have enough supporters. Do I have bishop here? Opponent wants a mercy draw. Bishop h6, there's f4. I think just b5. Take. Yeah, I have 4 defenders. Maybe there is something better there, but I'll go with this. So again, bishop h6. Could play this too. Actually, this looks good. So I still defend through the battery. It's a triple battery with pawn, queen, and bishop. I'm hitting the knight. I thought this just wins a piece. The knight's pinned in 2 directions, but it's defended still 3 times. Can I force a queen trade? I guess I'll start with queen a1 and then queen e5. Just trying to simplify. Make some Luft. Threatening queen g5. It's actually hard to go for the mating attack. Like bishop d6, queen h2 walks into this. I'll take a pawn. Now it feels very close to mating. It still requires patience though. Okay, everything's defended. Wait a minute. I misplayed this a little bit. Yeah, I lost the b5 pawn. Down a little bit of time. It still requires focus. Almost blundered the bishop. Thankfully, I could have played queen d4 too. I'll go after h4 now. Okay, now the queen can't defend the f pawn. I can't even draw the arrow. Mate next move. Okay, that took work. I got a little bit low on time. Opponent resisted. Not always easy when the opponent still has a queen. Nice game overall, though. Slightly offbeat variation of Sicilian. Got a nice setup. I converted the space advantage into an even larger space advantage. d4 and then this knight maneuver. Did I have anything better around here? I did.
Hi, love.
Hello, Jim Jib. How's it going? So what's the difference? Engine likes takes. If knight takes... Ah, here bishop h6. I was looking at this idea in other lines. So I guess in this case there's no pawn f4. If queen takes and take on c1. Is it that clear though? King h1, take on c1, bishop d4. Oh, f6 defends. Okay, so that was the first game. I do have a doc. So first game was e4, c5. So no more Sicilian against e4. Back to tournament. If you're just joining, this is the daily Rapid Arena. I've promised to play a different first move every game. So first game I was black. Next game I'll be white. I'll have every first move still possible. So if anyone has a preferred first move as white, let me know in chat. I'm still keeping the wooden themed board. Maybe at some point I'll switch back. Oh, I'm black. Okay. Multiple people were saying f4 and b4. Maybe one person saying b4 twice. So if e4, I can't play Sicilian. Also, there's kind of a big rating differential here. Oh no, my opponent. Okay. Well, this game I didn't even get to play a first move. What to do? I wonder how many fractions of a point I got for that. I'm top 100 in the tournament. On a streak. So now it's even more likely I'll be white. So I had two blacks. Oh, a lot of people want b4. So b4 is a Polish, also known as orangutan. Still taking time to get a game. There's no request for e4. Wow. Are people sick and tired of e4? Oh, one person said Vienna though, which I guess starts with e4. Yeah, the Grob is g4. I think the Grob is considered to be the worst first move. Okay, I'll play b4. Polish opening. Never really explored this so much. I mean, as black, I like to play e5. The idea is to trade off, win the center pawn. This is actually one of the, well, okay, this is not the best move for black because takes. So, and this opening is very strong. Winning a pawn and a rook, just a few moves. Opponent's going to try and checkmate me. What's your favorite vegetable? Depends on what else I'm having with it. If it's just a singular vegetable, probably cauliflower. Okay, let's take a rook.
Scotch at some point, please.
Okay, I'm sure I'll get around to playing e4. Just have to make sure this pawn is not takeable with mate. Also, now the queen is tied down to defending the knight. I should probably just take. Trade off, play c3. There's a question, why not knight f3 first? Black had no threat, so I figured I'd save it for later. But knight f3 earlier was also very fine. And maybe at some point this tournament I'll play knight f3 on move 1. Okay, so and how do I want to do this? I'll play bishop b5, really just going for trades. Also maybe going for d5. In this case, I'll take. I'm trying to trap the bishop. I'm not trapping the bishop, but I am targeting this pawn. If king b7, I have rook b1. Okay, no mercy. Okay. Polish opening worked out very well. I'll say that if I were playing against a Polish, I would also enter this position, but it's important that black defends the pawn and plays knight f6. And this is actually one of the reasons why the Polish is not so popular, because of this line. Even though white wins the center pawn, black has very quick development, usually gets tempo on the bishop. So hopefully that's a valuable lesson for my opponent and for other people watching. Thanks to the person who donated $3. Sorry I missed the message. I'll try and find it. In the meantime, let's move on. Oh, there's a question about promoting a YouTube channel. Yeah, usually that's not something I do much of. But thanks for asking, though. It also depends on the channel. Like, I usually like to vet channels as well. Let's play e5. Okay, so this time we have in English. We might have some reverse. Yeah, let's play reverse Grand Prix attack. One of my favorite lines against English. Why not g5? g5 might come later. But I'll try and develop harmoniously here. That's a good move. Yeah, white's forcing the trade of knight for bishop. Yeah, probably worth just moving back. A-file's now half open. This move is slightly mysterious. Probably go for this. And this is very typical. When that pawn has moved, the queen can come in via this diagonal. And one of the main plans is queen h5, f4, bishop h3. I think I'll start with h6. So white lost a couple tempi moving the knight. Now queen h5. White's playing really, really quickly. I'm tempted here to sack, like play f4, g4, and then sack. Maybe take with bishop. Takes, takes, takes. The knight's going to be tied down to h2. Let's go for it. It's a little bit risky, but I'm relying on intuition here. This could be a threat. This was actually threatened mate in 2. Takes and mate. Wow. I mean, I could just take the pawn. I think white wants to play this and get in a check. So if I play this move, white could defend. Yeah, there's a few candidate moves here. There's knight d4, there's rook g6, rook f6, preparing rook g6, or taking the pawn. I think I'm just going to take the pawn first. I don't mind if white plays queen b3. Probably king h8. And now this is a big threat. And there is a reason why I didn't play knight d4, which maybe I can show after the game. But now I'll play knight d4. So this is a mate in 1 threat. That defends. At the very least, I have this move. I want to play this, but then takes check king f1. Not actually mating. Yeah, not so simple. Honestly, this I'm not so enthusiastic about. And maybe just rook e8. There's also rook b8. Rook b8, queen c7, rook takes b2. Bishop's in some danger. Let's say takes and then takes. Bishop's still attacked. Bishop c1. Do I have queen h4? Bishop takes b2, queen f2, king h1, queen h4, king g1, queen h2, king f1, knight e3, king f2, queen g2, mate. I'm going to go for it. If I can attack f2, I think that could lead to very good things. I do lose this pawn. Wait, but now I have... Maybe now I start with this. I'm sacking a lot of things here. Like, my pawns are dissolving. I only have 5 pawns left. I guess I still have an extra pawn compared to white. I am down a minor piece. But all the pieces are ready to pounce. White has one check, and then king h7. White could also maybe take the pawn. Yeah, if queen takes pawn, it's an interesting calculation exercise. Because I would still want to take, and then win the bishop or check, but my knight's attacked. And there doesn't seem to be a super obvious solution. So I'm actually leaning more towards this move. Also, that has its own problems as well. I have this move too. Maybe this is the way to go. Rook g6. I'm threatening some pretty nasty things. I do allow a couple checks. They don't do too much.
Let's go.
Thank you, Tribesman. First time Prime. Thank you, Was It Daz? Also, thank you, Bortnik Chess. Appreciate the raid. If you're just joining, I've been sacking a lot of things this game. I'm currently down a piece. I've lost all my queenside pawns. But I have a pretty raging attack. Shout out to Bortnik. Hope you had a good stream. I'm playing the daily Rapid Arena on Lee Chess. The goal for today is to play a different first move every game. I've been keeping a list, except I should update the list. I played b4 one game, and then this game is 1 c4 e5. I played one game where my opponent didn't make a move and forfeited. Okay, this looks like mate in 3. Queen h2, king f1, knight e3. Sacking another piece. This is why it's nice to have the rook on g6. Oh, Bortnik played in the Champions Chess Tour. Finished 4th. Nice. Okay. I gained your rating points. Fun game overall. Yeah, I think knight g5 was a little bit just of a waste of time. Usually in these positions, white goes for some queenside expansion. Might be harder to pull off, like a3, rook b1, b4. I got my attack. How good is the sack according to the engine? Oh, engine likes knight takes g4 a bit better. But bishop g4 is also pretty good. Why does it say minus 0.2, but here it says, okay, maybe it takes some time for it to realize. Okay, nice game overall. Engine says I made one blunder this game. But rook g6, I think this is based on low depth. Rook g6 was a very fine move. Rook d2 is maybe slightly better. Okay, back to tournament. So this is my list of openings so far. So I can't repeat these openings. No more b4 as white. No more Sicilian, no more reverse Sicilian. What do people want next? Okay, f4. The bird is a word. There were multiple requests for bird earlier, so have to deliver. This could transpose into a king's gambit or reverse Dutch. Bishop f5, so black is trying to play reverse London. I'll play d3, simply trying to undermine the bishop. And then g3, bishop g2 is basically a reverse Leningrad Dutch. Leads to a pretty solid, harmonious setup. And generally the main plan behind the setup is to go for e4 in the middle game. Can you play e5 again as black if white plays a different first move? Yes. Yeah, it'll be a different opening in that case. So, I want to play this move. Then bishop c5. I might start with h3. Just don't want to deal with this stuff. Hey, thank you, GM Solver. That's Grandmaster Casper. How's it going? Hope you had a good stream. That's one of the best puzzle solvers in the world. Hope you're doing well. Shout out to GM Solver. Yeah, if you're just joining, I'm playing a different opening every game. More specifically, a different first move every game. So getting a lot of fresh positions that I don't usually play. This game we have a bird. I do eventually want to play this break. Black is trying to fight for the center in some way. The drawback of f5 is it weakens the square, so might as well plant a knight here. Other knight can come to f3. Also, this bishop is going to be stuck for a long time. We might have a big trade on e5. Yeah, do I want to play d4? I kind of wish I played b3, bishop b2 a bit sooner. The drawback of d4 is it allows a knight to come to e4. Yeah, what to do? I still go for like b3, c4. I think it's a big question where this bishop wants to go eventually. I could play c4 right away too. Also king h2. Okay, I'm going to slow play king h2. Not the most aggressive move, but really just trying to be solid, be flexible. Yeah, once I take, Actually, I could take here first. Black wants to play g5. So do I want to trade knights? I'll go for the knight trade. Yeah, g5 is likely coming. c5 first. And there is a prospect of trying to exploit this knight. Like even g4 right away. Am I trapping the knight? There's no queen h4. I mean, there's takes. I guess I'd throw in rook takes rook. Whatever takes back, I take. The knight should be trapped. Which is probably why black should have went for g5. Give the knight a square. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I shouldn't have traded rooks. I'm not trapping the knight. How's this square? Oops. I have to go into this. This is still very much of a fight. I guess I'll play this. Holding on to the bishop pair. I mean, g5 might come. Yeah, this is going to be a fight. I got a little bit too relaxed there. Was I not winning the knight? Because if I take first, then there's takes. Ah, maybe I had bishop takes. Can analyze after the game. I have to be really careful. Like after rook f8, black's threatening this, which means I might have to just trade. I don't see a great alternative actually. Because if I move the bishop, I lose a pawn. d4 just gives this bishop life. Okay, I'll take and go into the endgame. We have a very interesting structure here. Pawn e5. I'm still feeling okay. Question is, what is my plan? I'm thinking a4. So if a5, I play this. With light squared bishops, it's usually not great to get your pawns fixed on light squares. Black's being very solid. b4. The problem with b4 is takes rook c7. I play a5 first. b5. Yeah, let's get the pawn to a5. We'll probably see b5. I'm trying to support this move. c4. My king wants to come in. c4 makes a ton of sense though. d4 doesn't look attractive. Not thrilled with how this is going. There is almost one trick. I was thinking this takes, and then takes, but it doesn't quite work because rook f7. I'm going to try and get the king to e3. Like, this might be a legit idea. I just walk the king up this diagonal. Yeah, I was aware of h5. I couldn't take because g4. If h4, black will have a defended outside passer. Have b4. This might fizzle to a draw. Though here I might be threatening to take. If takes, I get the passer. If takes, I get the file. And the drawback of taking is it unleashes a bishop. I won't be able to play rook b1. Okay, so takes. I think I still go for it. And now this pawn is stable, supporting the bishop. Bishop can always keep an eye on this pawn. We might at some point see this, but the rook also helps defend. Wow. Okay, I have to take. Are we going to see this move? I would like to think white is quicker here. Take first. Black's threatening this. Have a choice which pawn to take. I'd probably just take this. It's going to turn into a race situation. But there's no way for black's king to get in. Like, there's no entry point. I should be able to start pushing. I think white is just quicker here. If takes, I just push. Rook moves back, I start pushing the c-pawn. So close game. Black misplayed the endgame at some point. Yeah, if the rook supports the pawn, I can always just come blockade. Okay. Not easy. I think I missed a chance to actually win the knight earlier. Yeah, let's go back. Apparently I was like much worse at some point too. So still a bird's opening success. More of a bird's endgame success. Yeah, at this point, yeah, this was just careless. Missing knight f4. Takes first. I didn't want to allow this, but then, I mean, this is the way to go. f4 is covered, h4 is covered. Knight would be trapped. And I proceeded to actually blunder really badly with bishop f3. Ah, I saw this idea later. I didn't realize it's playable right here. Yeah, knight takes d3 would have been really good for black. Because if takes, I lose the bishop. And thankfully, my opponent didn't find it. And then very gradually, I was able to make progress on the queen side. Yeah, en passant was not forced when I played b4. This is one idea. If takes, I would play rook b1. Apparently, it's still equal. I guess a6. Okay, GG. So I've played one b4, one f4 as white. Let's keep it going. 15th place. Leader has 33. People want knight a3. Knight a3 or grab? Well, I'm black, so I'll have to wait. e4. So I played Sicilian. Let's play e5. Let's play Stafford Gambit or like normal Italian. Let's play normal. Feels like it's been a while since I played this move. We have a Spanish. Let's actually play a fun variation, the Schliemann. Pawn f5. I did go through a phase of playing this way back when. And very often it can lead to attacking middle game positions. It can be a risky opening to play because I weaken this diagonal, I open the king a little bit. At the same time, I do have the f-file, half open f-file if I can castle. Now it will be a question, can I actually get to castle? It probably makes sense to start with this. Might be threatening to take and take. Any good resources to learn this line? Actually, the way I learned this line way back in the day, there was a video series by, what was his name? Boris Alterman? It's called The Gambit Guide. And he had a whole like in-depth series on the line stemming from the Schliemann. It's also called the Janissch Gambit. Jaenissch. So you might be able to Google it, find some resources. Okay, these tactics don't really work. I'll just go ahead and castle. Now with knight d2, it blocks the queen. And if somehow the knight were back on b1, then white would have a tactic here. Bishop takes f6. And then whatever I take back with, queen d5 would win the bishop. And that's something you have to be like ultra careful about in these lines with this open diagonal. There's also cases where white plays queen e2 to set up this. I think actually maybe one of the main lines is queen e2 instead of knight d2 to prevent black from castling. So white castles. Yeah, d6 looks pretty standard here. And this is one of the dream setups from this opening, where it looks like a normal Italian setup, but without the f-pawn. There's a lot of attacking ideas. Queen e8 to g6, eventually knight h5. And I can probably start organizing the attack. Very often the king will go to h8, and then to bishop c4. And all of these pieces have the potential to attack on the king side. Like even this rook, eventually we can double up on that file. So the resources include queen g6, knight h5, knight d4, sacking on f3, sacking on h3, doubling up rooks, h6 to throw in, f2 is a target. Yeah, very arrow-worthy position. Yeah, this was e4, e5. So, thus far I've been playing normal openings with black, at least normal first moves with black, and slightly abnormal first moves with white. How do you spell this opening? Yeah, Janissch. Old Walter got it correct. Can Google those words along with Gambit. Oh, Alekhine next. Could play an Alekhine. So is white trying to attack me on the king side? Unleashing the queen? This stops queen g6, also discourages queen h5. I'm thinking of just starting with this. There's also h6. A slightly annoying move. I'll start with this. Just getting off the diagonal. I also just want to see what white is up to. Doing well on time. Feels like with a lot of these rapid games, I'm usually the one lower on time. But opponent's thinking. Thank you to Kleinhat. Happy 1 year. It feels weird with this knight being pinned. Very often the knight can just hop into d4, get tempo on the bishop. Now, okay, white's really discouraging knight d4. So, I mean h6 now. There's a prospect of h6 g5. Okay, I'll start with this. I did kind of weaken g6, especially with inclusion of king h8. But the queen covers g6, so it's not a big issue. And white has a choice to make, mainly choosing between this or this. Or this, wow. I kind of forgot that was a move, but I'm okay with it. Yeah, if queen takes her, it'd be knight g6. So white traded off both bishops. Now it's 2 bishops against 2 knights. I'm pretty happy with the transformation. This knight is going to be kicked, like g5 incoming. f2 could be a bigger target now. Some bishop a6 idea. There's also the prospect of tripling up. Yeah, I'm not sure how strong this move would be, just because white has c4, b3. And the bishop could get shut out. And we'll see what white does. We might see queen e2. But I think this is a much, much easier position to play for black. The moves are so natural. And the knights kind of overlap each other. If we saw knight f3, knight b3 makes some sense. The drawback of knight b3 is now c4 is not covered. And bishop a6 might actually just be crushing. Because if rook e1 I take, so bishop a6 takes. I guess white could maybe just go for that. I'd be down the exchange, but have really bad pawns. Honestly, yeah, I'm going to just play bishop b6. I don't think it was worth giving up the exchange. It's very possible the engine would prefer bishop a6. But this is maybe a better version now. Bishop a6, a5, take. There's still some small issue. So I'll play a5. Sometimes you have to play defensive moves before playing attacking moves. Now white can't really do much on the queen side. Maybe white could try this. Goes back to d2. Okay, so now, unfortunately, bishop a6 is met with c4. Let's start with g5. After the game, I'll check if it was better to just cash in material. Now there's g4 ideas. Yeah, the rook can come to g8. Bishop a6, c4 still doesn't seem to do much. Yeah, g4 seems to do a lot more damage. Although g4, I do have to calculate. Take. Okay, takes on e5. I guess I take the queen. Yeah, it should be fine. There's a question from Supbox. Says, I turned 27 2 weeks ago and wonder if I can still become a good chess player with a title. I know the rules, but have invested less than 100 hours into chess. What do you think the fast lane is to become a good player? I don't want to play around. I want to reach the goal as fast as possible. That's a difficult question to answer. So a big part about getting good at chess is putting in the time. I mean, if you want to chase a title, it's usually requires playing a lot of like over the board serious tournaments, analyzing your games, working with a coach. But the most important thing is to enjoy the process. And sometimes worrying less about the improvement curve, because ratings can very often just fluctuate when you're learning and growing. You have to really enjoy the process. King h1. Okay, let's just develop normally. I'll bring the rook to the f file. Try and create the gun. After rook f8, I'll have 4 attackers against f2. Yeah, I think most title players have probably put in at least 10,000 hours, if not more. I think there's a lot of chess players who put in probably over 20,000 hours and never get close to attaining a title. But if you do focus more on study rather than like random blitz or bullet games, and you analyze your games, and you can definitely improve at a faster rate than players that don't work as hard. Okay, crashing through. This was really the dream, like from what move was it? Move 3 when I played f5. So this position, having the battery. White's still trying to hold on. King h1 is almost certainly the best try. I can't really take the knight. I'm thinking this move, actually. Holding on to the pawn, preventing queen takes h3. Thank you to Claw. Happy 29 months. Yeah, if you're looking for resources to improve, especially as an adult, I can highly recommend listening to the Perpetual Chess podcast, because there's countless interviews about success stories of adult improvers. Now people beyond the age of younger years like improved pretty quickly. All right, let's defend. So if takes rook f1, I play queen g1. So the pawn is useful, creating some mating ideas. Okay, now attacking the knight. If the knight moves, I win the e-pawn. If g5... g5 would threaten queen takes h6. So I probably just take it. The podcast is called Perpetual Chess. I think the website is perpetualchesspod.com. Will I get to checkmate? No. Okay. Fun game, though. Yeah, that file proved to be a nice attacking weapon. Oh, John Bon Pony, my best pony. Welcome back. Thank you, Magdaragdag. Yeah, I can check the theory here. Actually, very clean game. Engine does say I made a few errors. Didn't like g5. Oh yeah, I did want to check this moment with bishop a6. I prefer something completely different. Oh, but going back. Yeah, bishop a6 is still better for black, but yeah, bishop e6 is I think a bit more controlled. And then here, okay, bishop a6 was a top choice. But I didn't want to deal with the stuff on the queen side. Okay, moving on. Put this back. So, let me clarify what openings I played. Schliemann Gambit for Spanish, Reverse Grand Prix, facing B3 Sicilian. This will probably be useful in the future if this goes on YouTube, just to timestamp the games. Reverse Lenin, we'll just call it the bird. And then Polish. Polish winning in how many moves? 4 moves? 5 moves? Okay. What opening to play next? Knight a3. Okay, I'm playing the sodium attack. I think Magnus Carlsen once played this against Naroditsky. It's not a recommended opening, but we're getting something fresh. My knight's on c4 rather than what usually the bishop goes to c4. So, what to make of this? What is my knight doing here? Black is so solid. I guess I can try and attack, like try and build up the center c3, d4. Play some Ponziani inspired line. I'll start with knight f3. Maybe look to play c3, d4 very soon. Thank you to Lean Cuisine Fan. Opponent seems unfazed. Like they're just doing their own thing. Now this is definitely an idea. I guess d5 might be coming. Take. Could take with knight. Could lead to a lot of trades. For I'm calculating d4 takes. If takes, there's d5. Knight takes, let's say queen takes d5. Knight e5 take. And there's this idea. There's also b4. b4 is kind of interesting.
My goodness, it's Eric.
Hello. Hey, it's Just Add Blue. Happy 3 years. If you're just joining, I'm playing the sodium attack. Knight a3, move 1. Trying to figure out what my life plan is. I'm very conflicted here. I'll go for d4. I think it makes the most sense. I wonder if I can gab it. Like takes. Do I have to take back? Probably. Okay, I'll take back. There's a funny idea. After queen takes, maybe setting up bishop h6. Okay, black is just being solid. So I should move my queen. Queen e3. The queen will probably swing over to g3. Probably look to castle kingside. Well, black just wants to simplify. I don't really want to take, and then we just have symmetrical structure. That might be the way to go, though. Okay. Is this the most boring sodium attack of all time? I think I'm still pushing for something, though. All of the knights are off the board. This bishop is tied down to g7. And I have a slightly more active queen. Rook is maybe coming to d1. Yeah, sometimes these symmetrical structures can be deceiving. Even a small difference can mean a lot. If I play f3, I mean, rook d1, queen a5, and a2 is a small issue. So I'll just play bishop to e2. Queen c7 is coming. Queen c7, castle queenside, at least we get some sharper position. Okay, queen a5. Can I get away with sacking e2? There's also this move. Okay, this actually looks nice. Then bishop c4. What is going on? I might be overthinking this, but bishop c4 is actually kind of annoying. Rook d1. Wait, bishop g4, rook d1. There's rook d8. If I castle first, black castles. Rook d1. I'm in the castle. I have this idea a4, b4. Exploit the queen. Okay, it's spicing up. I was just really conflicted about choosing the path. whether I should prevent castling or allow castling. Here I could maybe sack a pawn. Yeah, this is mostly intuitive. Just the fact that the C and B file is open. Bishop takes and G7 hangs. If queen takes and A7 could hang. I'm pretty sure this line is okay for me. Queen B4, bishop A7, B6, I have bishop A6. Okay, so this is a trade. F6 is now hanging. I burned a lot of time. Position's looking nice though. Rook B1. Rook D7's coming. Rook F7 also may be coming. I'll still go for it. So I might lose the A pawn. But queen A4, I have rook A1. And I do have the threat maybe of bishop A7 because the queen is overworked. My king should be safer than black's king. Black defends. Yeah, logical move. I have bishop H5. The rook has to move away. Oh, shoot. I just dropped my queen. I have this move, maybe? Oh, this is not good. Takes. I have to go for this line, I think. My queen is trapped. I completely missed bishop F8. Alright, let's go for this. Oh no, my sodium attack. I'm gonna be so salty. It's not over though. I have an F file. I have a D5 square for my bishop. Opponent's Blitz rating is 2081. Yeah, still fighting. This is probably where black can spend all their time that they built up, or that they saved. Not burning time from earlier. I can take. So I do have the 2-on-1, but this is 2-on-0. I mean, some dream of this and windmill. E3 might fall. I don't really care about E3. I care more about checkmating. It's hard to stop rook b7. Objectively, black is still probably doing fine. But practically, it's tricky. We see the sack, okay. And that's a good sign because the king's cut off. And yeah, that's a good move. I can't save the pawn. Yeah, good practical decision from Black. Wow, I don't know what's going on here. I'm playing for a win. Despite the time situation. Wait, is it easy win here? It's not easy. Make Black burn some time though. Threading this. It's so difficult with the time situation. The queen can't stay defending the pawn. Here, there's this. If here I check. Okay, if here I play this, and then I'll eventually win the pawn. Tricky. I'm not winning the pawn. Thanks for the raid, Fiona. If you're just joining, it's tricky position. Okay, at least I can make safe pre-moves. Okay. That's close. It all stemmed from the sodium attack. Oh man. What a crazy game. I blundered my queen this game. I was feeling so salty. Yeah, bishop h5 was just such a bad move. I thought I was winning a pawn. Wow, look at this engine graph. 11 blunders.
What a salty comeback.
Yeah, the endgame conversion probably wasn't the best. Thank you, Nate Brady. I made 12 blunders this game. Bishop h5 was the first blunder. And then probably the whole endgame too. Did I miss a win? Okay, maybe earlier I missed some wins. Wait, so this is a table-based win. G5 keeps the position winning. Was bishop a7 better? No. Bishop a7 loses. It would lose a piece. It would save the queen, but it was more worth getting rook and bishop for the queen. Especially because my bishop found a square on d5. So it gave me practical chances. Okay. Well, I'm keeping a Google Doc of all the first moves I'm playing. So that was one knight a3, the sodium attack. Let's keep it going. So I'm not going to be repeating any first moves. Oh, sorry if ads played during the ending. I didn't have a chance to make sure when they ran. Well, hopefully they won't run during this game. Okay, I'm black. E3. So we haven't had this move yet. I'll just play d5. I think d5 is like a normal response. I did win barely. I won on time. The final position was probably somehow winning for white. Queen e2. What is this? All right, let's just follow opening principles. Maybe just e5. Control the center. Okay, this is some normalcy. I think my opponent is trying to play some kind of setup-based opening. I'm just going to follow opening principles, not overthink things. A5. Put the rook aligned with white's pieces. And e4 is a major break here. Does it work? Let's just go for it. mean, usually when the center opens up, it favors a side whose pieces are better placed, or in this case, more developed. And it looks like I can take and win a pawn. Although it would open the g file. Yeah, maybe I don't want to allow like rook g1. I'll play queen e7. Attacking this and this. This is still hanging. Maybe save it for later. Knight c4 is a good move. Now it's probably worth taking. The bishop can reroute to g6. Also some ideas of taking now on e3, with the knight no longer on c4. Okay, can I take? It's a big trade. I'd probably just rather keep the bishop, maintain the pin. White doesn't have a g-pawn now to play g4. And this seems like a nice follow-up. So I'm in 11th place. 24 tournament points. Yeah, not within range of winning the tournament. But still trying to play cleanly. We might see bishop g2 here. Queen g2 I forgot about. That threatens mate. I can't take the knight. Yeah, I probably have to play this. e5 is well supported. Want to set up b5. c2 is a target. So queen f1. b5. There is bishop d3. I'll start with it. Maybe I'll just follow up with queen c5. And there's also e4. But e4 strengthens the bishop. Okay, queen c5. Pressuring this and this. Yeah, it can still take some work to punish these sort of dubious openings. Rook g2. So over defending c2. I could take with check. I might even take here. Always have to be careful. There's also this move, just saving the b-pawn. I like this a little bit better. Not only saving the b-pawn, but there's ideas of eventually playing this and this. Can I take here? Any tactics? Takes. Doesn't look like it. Although the h-file, like if takes, I take this way, things slide over. They have knight h5. It should be okay. I might regret this move, but a pawn is a pawn. I have 4 connected pass pawns. I could also take this way. I think this is fine. Yeah, if there's any h-file trouble, I have knight h5. And the king can also run, like worst case scenario. Queen e2. Yeah, white's ready to double up. And there's queen h5. Probably just this. Then queen, or rook f2. Then queen e4. Thank you to Phyla. Happy 49 months. Okay, white's trying to be safe. Can I be aggressive? 94. Prevents rook f2. I was just calculating a line. Knight c3, bishop c3, rook c3.
2 years with you, Dad.
Oh, welcome back. Asia and Veja. Happy 2 years. So after rook c3, rook h1 threatening mate. Rook b3. King c1. Also, if king a2, I have rook a3. King b2. Is it worth even allowing? I guess I have f6, queen c4. But queen c4 is not playable. I should really not be overthinking this. I have f6. I'm going to play f6 first. Because now if rook h1, I'm pretty sure this is like easy. Knight g3, rook h8, king f7. There's no check on c4. And I'm hitting the queen and rook. Yeah, simple fork, attacking c2. I imagine the other line, like with knight c3 earlier, was also fine. But sometimes it's just better to be safe. What was the opening again? e3, d5. Probably won't be seeing this again from an opponent. I'm attacking all the major pieces. The king is pretty safe here. I was just wondering about this. Queen b7. Yeah, probably... Yeah, because if I take queen b7, it's kind of annoying. King g8. And then queen d5. Yeah, it's really annoying. Wow. So can I take on c2 and then take? Yeah, let's do that. Whoa. Take on c2. I was about to play the second move in my calculation as the first move. There's also knight takes h1. If I take here, there's rook c8 or rook c1. Opponent's being tricky. If I take here, No, this is just clean. Just take here. Queen b7. Wait, queen b7. Queen c7, queen d5, king e7. Yeah, okay. It's been a lot of chess today. I have to make sure I'm not hallucinating, not missing easy moves. White goes for that. I can go for this. We might see queen f1. I'm up 4 pawns and the exchange. White's still trying to resist. I just hung a pawn. It can be easy to be careless. But bishop, okay, bishop takes e5, I have queen c1. That should force some trades. If white doesn't trade queens, then rook d1 may be coming, or rook c2. Should be plenty of time. Okay, this is forced, should be forced mate. Wait a minute. Just play this. There's actually nowhere for the white queen to go to keep the bishop defended. Except the a1 or b1 squares. I control c8. I also control h2. So white could maybe go for this. I play rook h2 and then queen a1. Also important to note, there's no stalemate tricks. Queen takes g7, king takes. White has one legal move, thankfully. Oh, I maybe missed queen a3 earlier. Yeah, this is a slightly longer way of doing things. Queen a1. I would try queen c1. Hope for queen takes c1 stalemate. That would be funny. Okay, no stalemate. Okay, that took work. Yeah, for some reason queen a3 was a blind spot. Pawn on b4, controlling a3. Let's see if anything like big was missed. Pretty clean game. Engine says I made one mistake. Ah, here, missing queen a3. Oh, wow, it like knight d4. Yeah, maybe I should have slowed down in the opening. Look at this move, knight d4. If takes, I win the queen. If queen d1, then I assume takes threatening this is probably very strong. Yeah, maybe I could have won this game in like the first 10 moves. Okay. Well, top 10. 28 tournament points. Probably time for at least a couple more games. What opening to play next? I haven't played e4 or d4. Also haven't encountered d4 yet. If I'm black, maybe I'll play knight f6, move 1. Joe Bava, London. King's Gambit, Dutch, cow. Haven't played the cow. Okay, playing BingusBoopus. Well, I'm black. Can't really play the Dutch. I played e5 and c5 so far. Let's play an Alekhine, how about? And I'm going to play the Brooklyn, which is knight g8. Slightly offbeat line. f4. Okay, f4 is already a little bit new for me. I'm not sure if I can punish this. The idea of this opening is to like provoke white to overextend. Clearly white's not having an issue with extending the pawns. So what do I want to do? And there's takes, and c5. There's also c5 immediately. I'm going to play c5 immediately. Already entering some weird territory. I was thinking just playing knight c6 here. Like treating this as a gambit. I could play queen a5 to win back the pawn. I could maybe take. Queen a5. Actually, queen a5 makes a ton of sense. Let's play queen a5. White maybe gets some quick development. This is a target. Knight f3. I do have to be careful with my queen on c5. What to do? Bishop g4. It's also bishop f5. But then bishop d3. Not a huge fan of this position. Considering this move. Really the only way for the knight to develop. Maybe come in and go for mates. I am preventing bishop e3. Bishop e5 might happen. Okay, white wants to prepare this move. Not easy to stop. And there's d5. Maybe just knight c6. But then there's issues with the e-file. Yeah, queen e2 is a good move. Some queen b5 ideas. Oh, what to do, what to do. Knight c6, bishop e3, queen a5 takes e6. Okay, I'm trying to prioritize development. It might backfire. I think we're guaranteed a spicy position. Yeah, white's still playing really quickly. If I take... I don't like this position. Why did I play such an opening? Oh, what to do? White's handling this well, too. I think I just take. And try and develop as quickly as possible. It's already dangerous with the d-file. Yeah, this is super dangerous. I don't think I can even afford to do this. And probably e6. Wow, this is really bad. I'm just like beginning to calculate, realizing I'm almost on the verge of losing. I think I have to play this. I would have liked to develop my bishop first, but I just want a castle ASAP. White has initiative. Hold on with like bishop b7. It's really ugly. If I can get castled, it's probably not that bad. Especially like bishop b4. This knight is really out of place. It should be in the center. But at least I have some pressure against white's queen side. Like knight e4 I take and I'm threatening mate. We might see bishop d2. Trying to calculate bishop d2, castle a3. Take. If takes, king b1, rook b8. I really want to use this diagonal too. Maybe I can start with rook b8. Does it make sense to put the rook there? Okay. c5. And white's asking for spiciness. It does allow bishop b5. Okay, let's go for this first. Yeah, this could turn into a big mess. It's already turning into a big mess. I'm down about 3 minutes. But the queen's attacked.
Any tips on how I can decrease my chess rating? I've been watching you for a year now and I've gotten too good.
Maybe start playing more dubious openings. Can maybe learn from this this tournament. Although I have been winning. Bishop b4 is a great move though. I'm probably in some trouble here. Takes. Start with taking. If I take here, queen c6, king e7. No, king. I lose a rook. Or do I? Wait. Ah, there's knight d5 though. That's not good. I have queen a3 maybe. There's still this knight d5 line. I can't, I have to castle, I think. I'm going to be down a piece. But I'll have the c file. Knight will be on b1. Opponent hasn't played much blitz. This might actually be a threat if white's not careful. Or this. I didn't want to commit to queen a1. So what's my plan? Knight f5. g4 takes rook g1, knight f6, queen d4, queen f5. I mean, the plan's probably to target c2. Always have to keep an eye on the sacks. Threatening this now. Hmm. Knight comes to d5. That's not looking good. Oops. There goes my king. Well played. Yeah, I got in trouble in this opening. Hopefully that answers the question of how to lose rating points. Opponent played well. Yeah, this position was really bad. Somehow I got something playable though. Queen f3 was apparently the best move. And then here, yeah, I played c5. Maybe I should have spent more time looking at this. Like, can't really take. The problem with including c5 is it allowed bishop b, it allowed checks along this diagonal. And bishop b4 is actually very strong. And now if I take here, which I wanted to play, because if takes, I mate, white strikes with queen c6. If I move here, white wins a rook, and if I move here, there's knight d5. And check the opening too. Okay, c5 was maybe a little bit too ambitious. Engine likes bishop f5. Okay. All right, let's do one more. 6 minutes left in the tournament. Try and finish strong. So first loss, e4, knight f6, Brooklyn variation of the Alekhine. So I've played 8 games so far. Oh, playing another decently high-rated player. You know what move I haven't played yet? d4. I'm in the berserk. So I actually have to go like very soon after the tournament. So this will be the last game. I'll play a London. Gotta reset after such a game. Yeah, we have a mainline London. And berserking will force me to play a bit quicker. We might see this line. I'll go for the sharper variation, 95. Yeah, this is not going to be your typical London. Black has already provoked some spiciness. And the main line here is g6, g4. There's also knight f6, f4. Ah, this line. Wait, what am I supposed to do in this line? Queen b3? Queen b3. This is what Fabiano played against Michalishvili in the World Cup. Yeah, Fabiano did exactly this. So my opponent is kind of playing like Fabiano. I have to take. It's also moving back. Berserking may have been the wrong strategy here. I played this line myself, actually, like this knight g8, f6 idea. I think I have to play this. I'm over defending f4, so I can play bishop f2. Nixia says, I miss the simple notepad days. I'm using Google Docs because I'm on a Mac. I guess I could use a Notes app. But yeah, there's no notepad for Mac. There's text edit, but it's not as nostalgic. I'm getting something decently solid. Black wants to play bishop a6. I want to pressure the e-file. If castling, maybe queen c2. There's pressure here and here. Use a Vim. I'm not going to go out of my way to get Notepad. Or maybe I'll just buy like a new PC just to use Notepad and Microsoft Paint. I'm actually wondering, does Apple still have the Chess app? I think they do, right? Chess. They do. I might have some new streaming content coming soon. Do I have this move? I should have slowed down a little bit there. I mean, I guess if this, the king can move. .95. Black's playing super solidly. Start with this. And this is only half open file for me. There's this idea. Knight g7. I'm going to go for it. I'm being provoked. It might be bad, but yeah, I'm already regretting my decision. F5. Wait, F5. There's A4. Let's go for F5. Can always take with check. So it was an interesting transformation. I mean, g6 pawn is a bit soft. I don't mind the double pawns. And I want to make use of the F file, maybe even the H file too. I guess I could take that. So now, I mean, this is probably a threat. Knights 2 help defend both these pawns. F6 is a target. Actually, yeah, knight g5, and then I went f6 or e6. Similar fashion with knight e5. Takes, f6 will fall. I'm trying to predict what black's going to do here. Yeah, king g8 is probably the best move. h4. Not easy to crack. Could play queen d3. Oh, h4 loses a bishop. If I take knight h4, I'm going to go for this. So I'm hitting both pawns. If g5, the thought is knight g6. Okay, that's a move. G5 is coming. A nice thing about this is now e5 is fully in white's control. I have this idea or this idea. I really want to maintain a pawn on g4 to restrict both knights. I do allow queen f4, but then knight e5. Actually might take with a rook. At 55 seconds. This knight is so restricted. We might see this, but then I can go after e6. And queen d3 is very likely coming. Time is leveling out. That would be a bad pre-move. Pre-move this. Okay, progress. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Should have been wearing the heart rate monitor. Almost flagged there. Just enough time.
Let's go.
Okay. That's a tournament. The game didn't count for the tournament. I lost 17 points this stream. 9 wins, 1 loss. My rapid rating. I'm 22 on Lichess. The final game, the final game was a London. 1d4. So I got a nice mix of openings today. This last game, can check the accuracy. Overall, decently clean. Rook e6 was a blunder. Was my one blunder this game, according to the engine. So this shows why it's useful to know how to checkmate with king and rook efficiently. Maybe I didn't do it the most efficient way. Anyway, I do have to wrap things up. Big thanks to everyone watching. Maybe I'll do another tournament like this where I play a different first move every game.